Hello, everybody, and welcome to another live Argentina discussion. My name is Nemer of Mundo Albiceleste.com. I am joined by Osvaldo Godoy of Mundo Albiceleste.com. We are here to talk about the Argentina national team at the Olympics, the 3-1 win versus Iraq, and the final group stage match coming up versus Ukraine. And we're also going to talk about Julian Alvarez. Should he stay at Manchester City? Should he go? What's going to happen? Let us know in the comments. And as always, let us know where you're watching from. We always get from all around the world. So please do let us know. First things first, Osvaldo, how are you? How is everything?
I'm doing well. A pleasure to join you today, Roy. Yeah, some interesting topics to talk about. Argentina plays tomorrow for get a spot in the quarterfinals of the Olympics, and also Julian Alvarez, who is participating in these Olympics, but it has been more of a news because of everything that has happened with him at Manchester City. Guardiola talked about it. Julian also mentioned something about it. So yeah, we want to hear you guys. What do you think? Maybe where should he play? But we're gonna talk about it a little bit later.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And we're going to get to all of that. As always, let us know in the comments down below. Thank you for joining, Osvaldo. We have BC watching. Hello, hello, BC. Welcome. Nicholas as well. Uh, Suraj watching from Dallas. AJ from Pennsylvania. So thank you, everybody, for spending your Monday afternoon, Monday evening, or Monday night, or whatever it might be all around the world. As always, thank you, thank you. Let's get to it. So Argentina with a 3-1 win versus Iraq at the Olympics. Um, we're going to talk about the match coming up versus Ukraine as well. Osvaldo, what did you think about this match? A deserved result, I would think, for Argentina.
Yes, we played way better than Iraq throughout the whole game. It was kind of annoying that goal in the last couple of minutes of that first half, but overall Argentina played well. I think that we have to give credit to the team for the way they play. I think they play better than against Morocco, but also the way they stay calm during the second half and they continue trying to generate chances even after Iraq's tied, because any other team would feel the pressure in that moment, and maybe the second half wouldn't have played as Argentina played. I think there were some really good names. I particularly liked a lot Eki Fernandez. I've read a lot through social media, even before this match, but now after that incredible goal, how please Eki don't go to Saudi Arabia, go to a European team, or at least stay at in Boca a little bit more. But some good players, some good performances.
Yeah, definitely. A couple of the players really, really stepped it up for Argentina. Most notably, of course, Eki Fernandez, who you mentioned. I think it would be a shame to see him go over to Saudi Arabia. I think Europe is definitely the place for him. Um, it could have been very easy for Argentina to just kind of crumble after Iraq's goal, but they did not. They kept going and they grew as the match went on, especially with the substitutions. So very, very proud of the team. We predicted, I think, a 2-0 or a 3-0 or a 3-1 win for
No, I
Argentina. So
remember I predicted a 3-0 and you predicted a 3-1,
I
if I'm not
predicted I
mistaken.
yeah, I predicted the 3-1. Yeah. I said either 2-0 or 3-1 for Argentina.
If you
You
say
predicted
two results, it's easier. You have to say just
that's
one.
I cheated a little bit. I cheated a little bit about that one. Let's get to the chat. AJ from Pennsylvania, Kursiniets watching from Waterloo, Iowa. Welcome, BC from NYC. BC also mentioning, yeah, I did shave. Give it a couple of days. It's gonna grow back for sure. AJ saying Iraq keeper was trying hard to look like Dibu. He most certainly did. Um, Manoj, good morning. Good morning, Manoj. Let us know where you're watching from. As always, like I said earlier, all around the world we get viewers, part of the Mundo Albiceleste family. Argentina, top of the group where they belong. We see the most certainly mixed memorabilia. Hello. Good result for Iraq, but twice now we conceded near halftime. Yes, that is actually very true versus Morocco in the first match versus Iraq in the second. Hopefully not the case versus Ukraine. Mixed memorabilia also talking about Thiago Almada, Simeone, Bruno Amion. Amione have impressed me, but there's potential across the squad like Sinon and Echeverri, some players that we haven't seen as well too much of. Shop Fitness, good morning, my friend, and everyone. Vamos, hope you're doing well. We're doing well. Hope you're doing well, and thank you for joining us as well. Manoj from Nepal, there you go. and also saying if Eke Fernandez moves to Saudi, his career will be over for the national team. We'll see. We'll see what gives when it comes to that. And hello, Master Azar. Thank you for joining us. Now, next match, final match of the group stage: Argentina versus Ukraine, the Olympics. Argentina tied. All four teams are tied on points essentially in the group. Argentina lead on goal difference. What do you think of at least on paper when it comes to this match? Let us know in the comments down below. And Osvaldo, what do you think about this? Are you confident going into this match? Are you nervous? What do you think?
A little bit of both. I'm confident because I think Argentina played better than against Morocco, against Iraq, and we should try to continue uh, playing in that way. Especially, it's gonna be a match where you have pressure because, of course, if you lose, you might be, of course, out of the tournament. But I'm confident on the way Argentina handled the pressure, especially in that second half against Iraq. I think that in papers, Argentina has better players. We've been playing better. I think we have to give some credit to Mascherano in the way we play against Iraq because we always say, oh, we have good players, but Mascherano is not being able to make this team play as a collective team. And I think against Iraq we did it. We have to try to continue and do it against Ukraine.
Yeah, I think some of the credit has to go to Mascherano as well. It's funny because the first two matches, Argentina in the first half, maybe have not always looked great, but certainly once the substitutions happen, once the new players come in, Argentina do look like the superior team. And we're going to talk about some of those changes coming up. I'm kind of like you, I'm confident, but I'm nervous as well. You never know what can happen, what will happen. Only time will tell. But looking at the chat, everyone seems kind of confident. BC saying Argentina 2-0. Manoj saying Argentina 3-0 as well. Shafin is saying, Ukraine, not sure about their youth side. And, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I'll be honest, when it comes to a couple of these youth teams, I'm not always sure what to expect. But still, all four teams are on 3 points. So they must be doing something right.
Yeah. And on one hand, they lost against Iraq that from what we saw, it was very poor except for a couple of players. But then they surprised Morocco, which I believe to be a really good team, especially against Argentina. So you don't know exactly what to expect. It's true that a tie would make us advance to the next round, but it's also true that I don't know what you think, Roy, but I want to win. I want to win to lead the group and probably not have to face France in the quarterfinals.
Oh, trust me, I'm the same as you. If we could avoid on paper, the heavyweights and especially the hosts, France, with everything that's going on with France and Argentina, if we could maybe avoid them at least for now, by all means, if Argentina could finish first, why not? But if we do have to face France, then we have to face France, and that's something that maybe we could discuss in a little tiny bit as well. And AJ, it's shaping up like the World Cup group stage match in the last one, where it's kind of have to win. A draw is not the end of the world, of course. A draw does take us through to the next round, as you said. Let's get to Santiago. Greetings from Entre Rios, Argentina. Hope for a win for tomorrow. We want to see Echeverri on the pitch. That's a player we haven't seen too much of. Is Echeverri?
No, I don't think he played against Iraq.
No, he didn't. He played versus Morocco, if I'm not mistaken. Came off.
Yes, he played a little bit. Yeah, but we also have to give credit that, as you said before, the substitution of Zenon in and Gondou in was the key for that first goal, with that cross from Zenon and then the header from Gondou.
Yeah, no. Again, it's the substitutions. It's the substitutions, definitely.
Yeah, and let me mention you something about what you said. I mean, yeah, it's not easy to play France. They've been playing well. They won the two games. Of course, we're confident about Argentina. I think we have good players. I think we're starting to play better. But let me just bring that an example of the rugby in the Olympics. Argentina play against France. Argentina in rugby sevens is a modality of rugby, and I've been following it a lot. I'm really very I used to watch all this year, and Argentina are the number one in the ranking. They won a couple of tournaments, and they play France, which were the local team. And they really didn't do very well throughout the year. But Argentina was not able to beat France because mainly because of the hostile atmosphere in the stadium. It's not easy to play against the home team, and especially after everything that happened in these recent years with Argentina winning the World Cup, with everything that happened with Enzo Fernandez just a week ago. That's why I think that we should at least try to make it to the semifinals, and then we'll see. Like, let's try to play the quarterfinals with maybe the US or New Zealand, and then we'll see.
No, of course, it's not easy. It's almost as if even before the start of the Olympics and even before everything that happened with Enzo Fernandez, it's like everybody's against Argentina. Especially since the World Cup and everything. It's a never-ending thing. And now, as you mentioned, playing the hosts, a hostile atmosphere. You never know what could happen, but it's definitely one game at a time. On paper, Argentina are not qualified mathematically. If they lose, they are out essentially. Afford to lose. So we'll see. We have to get through Ukraine first. Shafin is saying Argentina must not meet France too early. I agree with Osvaldo. The French spectators are going to be hostile and intimidating. And Mixed Memorabilia saying, I'm nervous about the back line. Otamendi is doing great. Mascherano's subs have been excellent, excuse me. But maybe start with Simeone. And I guess that brings us to the next point, which are the potential changes. So Lujan, Simeone, and Gondu looks like they're going to be starting, Osvaldo.
Yeah, per reports, these are the three substitutions. I think it's going to be interesting to see how Simeone, Gondu, and Julian Alvarez, all strikers, start. I think Simeone has been playing a little bit more as a right wing, and Julian Alvarez can play also as a winger. But Gondu is a striker, and the three of them are strikers. So it's going to be interesting to see where they are on the field, how they can all play together. And then, yes, Gonzalo Lujan, who is a right back of San Lorenzo, who has played well the couple of minutes he did in this Olympics, and it appears to win that right back position over Joaquin Garcia.
Yeah, you mentioned Simeone, Gondu, and Alvarez. I remember prior to the match for Iraq, you had asked me which player am I most looking forward to watching, or maybe somebody getting an opportunity. I said Simeone. You said Gondu. Both have been doing well at this at the Olympics. Gondu in particular, especially since the qualifiers, very, very good. Scored another goal, a great goal, a header versus Iraq. The fact that we could get those three starting, and then you have the likes of maybe Necheverri coming off the bench versus tired legs to add that that speed, that trickery. I think it's definitely a plus for Mascherano's team.
Yeah, it appears as it's gonna be. As I was saying, no, Julian maybe more as a left wing, Gondu as a striker, then Simeone as a right wing, and then maybe Eki Fernandez, Thiago Almada, and Medina probably as the three midfielders.
I mean, that's a solid midfield as well. If you look at those three, and then the three players that could potentially go out: Joaquin Garcia, Santiago Hetze, and Lucas Beltran. Beltran in particular looks like more due to injury maybe than anything else. I think he was having a pretty decent Olympics, but he was substituted out right before halftime versus Iraq, unable to continue, was taken out. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be an interesting one. Do you agree with these changes, Osvaldo?
Yes, again, I think I want to see how the three strikers play together. I was surprised when I was reading this news because I kind of get that maybe he wants to play more aggressive, Mascherano, and wants to try to get the win from the very beginning without speculating that much. But I really want to see because we know that Julian, yes, he can play as a left wing, but he's a striker. And that's a struggle that he also had in Manchester City, maybe not playing in Haaland's position. So yeah, and the midfield. I mean, you have Thiago Almada, who is he's not a great defender, in that midfield. He likes to play behind the number 9, and he's a great creative player. But then you leave Eki Fernandez and Medina kind of alone in that midfield. So I want to see how they end up playing.
Yeah, it's an exciting midfield. It's an exciting midfield, and it's a very exciting attack. Uh, If that is the lineup, or at least the midfield and the attack, Mascherano's going for it. He's going for the goals. He's going for the win. He's not going to sit back. And to be honest with you, I think maybe that's the way to go with this Argentina team, because the talent is there. When you have that attack, when you have that midfield, you have very good midfielders. You have two World Cup winners in Alvarez and Almada, excluding Otamendi and Rulli, of course. So if you have those players, and then you have that kind of bench where you have Senon and you have Echeverri and a couple of others, why not? Why not go with that attack? And it's going to be a fun game, I think. I think it's going to be very, very fun to watch Argentina. Let's look at some of the chat here, some of the comments. Manoj Gondu is a super sub player. BC talking a little bit about France and them being a Cameroonian-born player. Mixed memorabilia. I also have this feeling that World Cup winning mentality and experience in Otamendi and Alvarez transcends to the squad, and just maybe, they might do something special. The potential is certainly there. Fingers crossed, my friend. Absolutely, fingers crossed. Shop Fitness saying the midfield for the future of the senior national team side. I mean, with Almada, Medina, and Neki Fernandez, I think it's a good argument to have. That could potentially be a future midfield for Argentina. Janet, welcome, Janet, all the way from Toronto, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you for joining us. Manoj, Fernandez, Medina, Almada, midfield option for today's match. There you go, Janet. Thank you. And this comment here, Fichiness saying Echeverri deserves more minutes. I think he'll get it. I think maybe he might come on as a substitute versus Ukraine, or I hope so anyways.
No, I agree. And I think that also we didn't talk much about the goalkeeping position. Geronimo Rulli is going to start. I think he's one of the players that I would want him, of course, not to participate that much in the game against Ukraine, but when he has one or two opportunities, he has to make those saves. I think it's going to be very important for Argentina to remain their goal in zero,
No, definitely. And that's something I 1000% agree with. I think Rulli, he hasn't had a bad tournament. I don't think we could really blame him for any of the goals, but I would like to see him, I would like to see him save Argentina if need be, make that big save, show why you are being selected. But hopefully he doesn't have to.
I think when you're a goalkeeper in a national team like Argentina, a big national team, it's not enough to play okay every game. I'm not asking you to save us every game like maybe Martinez can do, but at least save us in a couple of games. I know that we're asking a lot, but because he's a goalkeeper that can do it, and again, we didn't see any like really bad mistakes in any of the goals. But I think that this can be his match when he has one or two opportunities to make those saves.
No, exactly. It's when you're playing for Argentina, as you mentioned, the best national team in the world, you have to step up. Giving 110%, yes, that's great, and that's obviously what's expected. But you have to make those saves, even if it's a save that maybe you're not expected to make. You have to make it when you're with Argentina. Well, hello and welcome to George. Hello, my friend. Thanks for joining us on this Monday night. Shafin is saying Rulli needs to show that he can use Martinez as a benchmark. I like that. I do quite like that. Before we move on to the next big topic that's kind of been coming out in the last 24 hours, and specifically the last 5 or 6 hours, final predictions for everybody when it comes to this match. Osvaldo, any predictions?
Yeah, I would say 2-0 for Argentina.
Okay, you're going to go with 2-0. I'm going to go with 2-0 as well. I'm going to go with 2-0, and I think Alvarez gets his goal.
Okay, I was going to ask you that. Who's going to score?
Yeah, I think Julian gets a goal, and then, I don't know, maybe Thiago Almada. I'll go with Julian and Thiago, but I want Julian to get his goal.
Okay, I'm seeing Otamendi scoring from a corner kick with a header, and I see probably Thiago Almada scoring again.
Almada again. Okay, so we both have Almada. I have Julian. You have Otamendi. Either way, it would be 2 World Cup winning goal scorers
Yeah.
in our predictions. All right, let's get to the chat. Shop Fitness saying Argentina is going to win 2-0. Mixed memorabilia showing some love for Rulli. And Shop Fitness saying I think Echeverri will score. All right, there's a bold prediction. Why not? Definitely, why not? As we move on to something else, make sure to hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications button. We got a lot of stuff coming up, not just the Olympics, but we have the European club season that's starting. We're going to talk about all the transfers, everything. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss a thing. Now, someone that we were just kind of mentioning and talking about who's made headlines when it comes to his club career, even though he's at the Olympics, Julian Alvarez. Should Julian Alvarez leave Manchester City? Where should he go? There's been a lot of talk in the last 24 hours, and we've gotten some comments today. This is massive. Well, what do you make of all of this, Osvaldo?
Yeah, I think that Julian should leave Manchester City. He's not having those many minutes, but most important than that, and we're also gonna see the quote of what Julian Alvarez said. I think one of these days, I think he's not having those minutes in the important matches, and that's the main thing, and that's why he, I think, is thinking about maybe leaving Manchester City if the opportunity comes. I honestly don't know what club. I think that he has to go at a club of that level, or close to that level, maybe Barcelona, Atletico Madrid. I don't think he should aim for less. He's a World Cup champion. He's the substitute of Haaland, so I don't think he should aim for less than that.
Oh, I completely agree. I 1,000% agree. I'm a Pep Guardiola fan. I'm obviously an Alvarez fan. I'm an Argentina fan first and foremost. Look, he's won everything there is to win, obviously with the Argentina national team, and he's won everything in club career, whether that's in South America or in Europe. And he's, 24? He's going to be 25, I think, in January. So at this point, when you've won everything, that's great. It's time to be a starter, and I'm very happy. I'm very glad that Alvarez is even pushing for that, because some players would just be happy sitting on the bench and getting matches here and there and not necessarily playing in the big matches. He's not. He wants to go for those big games, and I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy to read that, to hear that, to see that. Let's bring up his comments here. Julian Alvarez saying, last season I was one of the City players with the most minutes on the team, but it's true in the end you don't like being left out of important matches. You want to contribute. I haven't stopped to think clearly about what I'm going to do. When the Olympics is over, I'll take my time to think about what I want for myself. We'll see what comes next. For me, this sounds like somebody who is not saying, yes, I'm going to stay. I don't know what you think, Osvaldo, and we'll get to the chat in just a minute. But
no, I agree with those comments. I think he's closer to leaving than to staying, or if it can also be a way of putting some sort of pressure in a good way, telling Guardiola, "Hey, it's all good. I love Manchester City and everything, but if I don't get the minutes I deserve, then I want to prefer to continue my career somewhere else."
Yeah, and I think it's a very, I think it's a mature way of saying it. He hasn't said anything bad about anybody, especially not Guardiola. So, coming up with comments like that, and technically his head is at the Olympics, so why not, think about that when it's all over. Let's get to the chat. Alejandro, saludos. Welcome, my friend. Hello. Let's see, George. Machado needs to step up. He was smart. He would have had his players go to the hospital to get their hearing checked. Someone bringing in explosive the Olympics 24 with prior terror threats. That's a whole other thing, which thank you for the comment, George. Something we had discussed a little bit in one of the previous videos. Manor saying he must leave and go to Arsenal. There's been some rumors about Arsenal. There's been some rumors about Atletico Madrid, and we'll get to some of that. Janet saying he can come to my club. We lost another Argentine a few years ago. I want to say your club is Barcelona. I want to say it's Barcelona. Let's see. All right. Let's see what else we have. Mixed memorabilia saying Alvarez is one of the best players for Manchester City, but doesn't get the recognition and opportunity. He should leave. I do agree with that. Hello, Varun. Thank you for joining us. Beard is trimmed. It's going to come back. Beard is trimmed. It's going to come back. AJ, hope he goes where other Argentinians are. Atletico, Roma, and Sevilla. Caspian, we're going to get to this. Yeah, Pep's annoyed reaction also hints at Julian leaving. The comment or the reply from Guardiola himself was quite something. I'm going to bring it up and we'll have it here. And Osvaldo, I'll let you get to it if you want, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Guardiola said he would think about it when he's finished. His agent calls Siki is the sports director of Manchester City, and we see what happens. I know he wants to play important moments, but the other ones do too. Okay, I think about it and tell us. He plays a lot. He wants more. That's fine. I agree. The attitude in this comment from Guardiola doesn't sound very good.
No.
Yeah, it sounds like if there was some sort of tension or like maybe he didn't like Julian's comments or intentions of leaving. And I agree with what you were saying. I think that reading these comments, I think he's closer to leaving than to staying.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think he's very close to leaving. I don't know about the club yet. There's been some rumors, and some people are writing it in the comments about it being Atletico Madrid. And we can discuss that, of course. But judging from Pep's reaction, yes, he does look annoyed, or does sound annoyed, excuse me. Maybe not too happy with Julian's comments, but Julian's just showing that he does want to play and he wants to be a starter. And I think he more than deserves to be a starter and has more than shown that he deserves to be a starter at any club.
Yeah, he knows that the best way to compete against center forward Lautaro in the national team is by playing. Because when Julian does it in the national team, he does it great. But then for some reason, Lautaro Martinez scores a lot of goals in Inter. Then Julian doesn't play much at Manchester City. And then Scaloni ends up sometimes putting Lautaro because of those great performances. And now that Lautaro has scored a really important game in the Copa, really important goal in the Copa America final, I think that good clash between them two is also making him think of a move and playing more in another big team of Europe.
Yeah, of course. You look at and Julian had a pretty good season with City. Let's not forget that. But you look at somebody like Lautaro, who was the top scorer in Italy, and then as you just mentioned, adding maybe a little bit of healthy competition, of course, but a little bit of pressure maybe on Julian by scoring in the Copa America final. Maybe Julian thinks, hey, I know I'm in the national team, but I want to score more. I want to contribute more to maybe end up being that starter with Argentina. And if he has to move, then so be it. Let's get to some of the comments here. Mixed memorabilia, other than Boca Juniors alongside Cavani, is Atletico Madrid the destination? It appears they are maybe one of the favorites in signing him. I think he could fit that Simeone style. I'm not sure how I would feel about that. I don't know if you'd like to see him there or not, Osvaldo.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there's some hate in the way Simeone makes Atletico Madrid play in the last couple of years, but I would like to see him there. I think Diego Simeone, in the end, he's a great coach, and it's a great team from Spain and from Europe. So I think he would be benefit by moving to a team like Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, I think he could absolutely excel at Atletico. I really, really do. Having that more pragmatic, that more defensive approach. And if he could be the focal point of the attack, then of course, by all means, definitely by all means. BC saying Alvarez has to leave, mentioning Guardiola does not appreciate South Americans, didn't even like starting Aguero at his peak. I could make a whole video probably discussing about Aguero not starting under Guardiola. Diego Amenta saying he should go to Chelsea and reconnect with Enzo like in River Plate.
That's a really good one. I would like that.
Look, Chelsea definitely need a world-class striker. Alvarez is the world-class striker, With that said, Chelsea, with the musical chairs that they're playing with their coaches and some of the players that they have, I don't know if even Julian and Enzo could save them, to be honest.
No,
The
I
way that they
agree.
have.
I don't think that Chelsea is going through the best moment. Personally, I would like to see him play with Enzo. I suffered him when they were both in River Plate, but just watching them play in the national team, and if they can potentially play at Chelsea, I believe me, I would watch every Chelsea game if that happens.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I think they, Alvarez could help Enzo, and Enzo could help Alvarez, much as as you were just mentioning at River Plate. Uh, but I think Chelsea need more than Julian and Enzo is what I'm saying. But hey, if they could get him, why not? I'm on board with that. I have no problems whatsoever as well. Varun, I don't think Alvarez should leave. Haaland has said he wants to go to La Liga. Don't need to leave City for Atletico because he'll not be winning anything. You never know. You never know about that. George saying Inter Milan for Julian would be fire too. Imagine that, Inter having both of the Argentine strikers. That would be something. That would be something. And thank you everybody for the comments coming in. Varun, George, everybody as well. Thank you, thank you. And if you're watching us on YouTube, not live, let us know in the comments down below. Where do you think Julian should go, or should he remain at City? Shafin is saying Julian to a club that has potential to win the Champions League, a team like Arsenal, better rather than Atletico. That would be an interesting one. I mean, Arsenal have not had an Argentine player, excluding Emiliano Martinez, in quite some time. I think 25 years now, almost or so. So
Yeah,
it'd be something.
and before that, I don't remember any player in Arsenal from Argentina. I'm trying to remember.
The last one that I could think of was Nelson Vivas.
Wow, no, yeah, it's
And that
what in
was
1990 something.
let me look that up and see. But yeah, I want to say this was 99. I want to say I'm just looking that up now, but I
I
want
think
to say
it's from the big teams in England.
19.
Arsenal is the one that had less
Yeah.
Argentinian players, I would say.
Yes, yeah. Nelson Vivas, 1998 to 2001, and for sure. I mean, you look at Manchester United, Gabriel Heinze, Veron, obviously Tevez. You look at City, all the recent Argentine players that they had, including Tevez and Zavaleta and De Michelis.
Liverpool now with
Chelsea,
McAllister.
yeah, Liverpool with McAllister. You had Verona at Chelsea as well, Crespo at Chelsea. Yeah, it's definitely Arsenal that has the least amount of
Mascherano,
Argentine.
Maxi Rodriguez at Liverpool.
Yeah, Emiliano Insua at Liverpool as well. There was another one I can't remember. I think he ended up playing for Olympiacos, but or Panathinaikos. Sorry, another Argentine who played for Liverpool. He played for
What
Panathinaikos. I
position?
can't remember. Defender, I think. I think it was a defender. I can't
Maybe
remember.
someone in the chat can get it.
I can. If you guys could help us out in the chat, if I'm not mistaken, it was an Argentine player who played for Liverpool and Panathinaikos. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
But you know what I was thinking with all this Guardiola and Julian Alvarez and Manchester City thing? I think there has to be something behind all this like tension from what Guardiola said and what Julian Alvarez said, because I don't know. I imagine that first of all, yeah, of course, Julian had to leave Manchester City to go and play the Copa America because that's an obligation. But then
Yeah.
Julian Alvarez was one of the few players that overage that went to Argentina, and we know how that can be difficult sometimes. And now for Guardiola, maybe having to listen Julian that he's not sure about staying, maybe that's what could have angered Pep Guardiola. You know?
Yeah, you're right. It could be that. It could absolutely be that. Maybe Pep sees it as you played the Copa America. I was not forced to let you go to the Olympics. I let you go to the Olympics, and you're coming out and saying this to the media.
Yeah.
It's very possible. It's very, very possible. And I just found, I think the player. Yeah, I just found it. It was Sebastian Leto.
Okay.
Yeah, a winger. There you go. He was a winger, not a defender or midfielder, but more of a winger. And he played for Liverpool 2007 to 2009 and spent one of those years on loan in Greece. So all of this to say, Arsenal do not have many Argentine players in the past. Looking more at some of the comments, BC saying he would score so many goals as a starter in any league. I do agree with that, definitely. Caspian saying Julian won it all, so many trophies, so now he wants to be an automatic starter at a good club. Yes, and I think he truly, truly deserves it. Shaw Fitness, yes. Leto played for Liverpool. That's the one, my friend. You got it. You got it. And BC saying Chelsea is a little bit of a mess right now with a new manager every year. So I guess a question for everybody, a question to you, Osvaldo, as well. If you were to decide where you would want Julian Alvarez to play next season, where would you want him to play? Would it be Chelsea? Would it be Atletico? Would it be Real? You pick. You pick. Where would you want him to play?
Okay. And between, I would like him to stay in the Premier League, and I would be between Chelsea just to see him playing with Enzo, with his friend, and I think that they both can make Chelsea better, and either Chelsea or Arsenal. I think that with Julian in Arsenal would have one Argentinian in the big six of the Premier League. I mean, if Julian leaves Manchester City, then we wouldn't have an Argentinian in Manchester City. But I would like to see him play at Arsenal.
You know what? I'm gonna agree with you, Osvaldo. And let us know in the chat, by the way, where would you want to see Alvarez play next season? I would say Arsenal because, and this might be controversial, I truly think, and I was talking to a friend of mine who's actually an Arsenal supporter back at the end of this season, just a couple of weeks ago. I said, if Arsenal had a world-class striker like Julian Alvarez, they would have won the Premier League this season. Because I think that's what they were missing to win the Premier League. City have a bigger squad. City have more more world-class players. With all of that said, let's not forget the Premier League came down to the last game of the season. And I think if Arsenal had a world-class player like Alvarez, they would have won the Premier League. And I would love to see him at Arsenal. I think he could thrive there. He would be the focal point of the attack. They don't necessarily have a world-class number 9, in my opinion.
No, I agree.
He would do so well. And I think he has more of an opportunity to win the Premier League there than maybe a Chelsea, even though I think maybe even Manchester United could use him. But if we're up to me, I'd love to have him at over at Arsenal. If not, I'm a Barcelona fan. Bring him to Barcelona.
Yeah, what we can agree is that he shouldn't settle, and I think he's not settling, which shows his hunger for continuing competing and for continuing playing and participating and having more chances to be a starter in the Argentina team, and that's good. And I think that it's better for him at this point to leave Manchester City than to stay.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. I don't think he has anything to lose. People are going to say, well, if he stays at City, he's guaranteed to win some trophies. And, that's true. But if you want to push yourself and everything, I don't think he has anything to lose in that sense.
He already did. He already won every single trophy. Now he wants to make, do it by starting more,
Yeah. No, exactly. Let's see some of the comments here. Let's see what everybody is saying. Calvin, welcome, Calvin, by the way. Calvin saying, is it true Julian's linked to Paris? I have not heard anything about this. Not saying it's not true. I haven't heard much. Persian Old School Geeks, welcome. I love the name. Saying, I do understand that Pep is angry. See, Garnacho couldn't, right, about going to the Olympics. Caspian saying, from the clubs he was linked to, Atletico Madrid, easier league, better climate, and Simeone would teach him a few things too. Valid points. Definitely some valid points. Ficines online saying Barcelona, Aston Villa, or Juventus. Yes, why not? Although if it were up to me, more Barcelona and more Aston Villa than Juventus, but that's just me. Tarun saying I'd love to have him at Barcelona. Janet at Barca. Lewandowski, a bit of a disappointment. Alvarez would be a great replacement. Calvin, Julian would fit in at Arsenal at their setup, but I would like to see him with Simeone now that Morata has left. Shah Fitness saying Arsenal, Barcelona, but since there are Argentinian players and coach, he would go to Atletico. BC, Lautaro would be a big upgrade at striker for Arsenal on Gabriel Jesus. Yeah, for sure. And Tarun, I would love to have him in Barca. He can be a great replacement for Lewandowski. So, no one has said that they would like to see him at Manchester City next season. No one in this chat, which I think is very telling. I think everybody wants to see him leave and become a starter elsewhere. For me, as a Barcelona fan, it would be Barcelona my first choice. But overall, if I'm putting bias aside, I think Arsenal could be great for him. But
Yeah,
who
yeah,
knows?
he definitely has to go to a club that he can be a star.
Yes.
That's the most important thing, because if not, he would stay in Manchester City.
No, exactly, for sure, for sure. But yeah, we'll see what gives with Julian Alvarez. I don't think we're gonna get an answer in terms of his future until after the Olympics. So whenever that is, I think that's probably when we're gonna get a bit of an answer there. So we'll see when
Yeah,
it comes to Julian Alvarez.
hopefully it's not soon.
Hopefully not soon. That's why I said when it happens, man. Hopefully with a gold medal around Julian Alvarez's neck, an Olympic gold medal, of course. Um, but yeah, with that said, Osvaldo, any final thoughts before we close things up here?
I think we have to win tomorrow. I'm very, or a little bit anxious, but also confident about Argentina tomorrow. Let's try to get the win. I think Mascherano is thinking about that. That's why he decides to start with 3 forwards, and I think we're gonna get it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Mascherano and the team are definitely going to push for it, going to try and get the win. I'm confident. Um, I'm also realistic. I'm not expecting 5-0 or 6-0, but I'm confident that Argentina can get the win. Very, very confident about that. On that note, I do want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight or today, wherever it is around the world that you're watching us from. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching us on repeat on YouTube, let us know in the comments down below. Where are you watching us from? Your predictions on the match, and of course, where would you like to see Julian Alvarez play next season? And by next season, we're talking in 2 weeks' time, 2.5 weeks' time. So let us know in the comments down below. Once more, if you guys like what you saw, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications button. My name is Roy Nemer of MundoAlbiceleste.com. I'm joined by Osvaldo Godoy, also of MundoAlbiceleste.com. I just want to say a big thank you to everybody for watching us and joining us tonight. Until next time, everybody, take care. Bye, everybody.